What is up, everybody? Keith, a.k.a. Gator Guy 231. And guys, NFL is back, joined by Tim Knotts, a.k.a. TK Nation, and Zach Kane, a.k.a. Keith. Guys, how is it going tonight?
It's going pretty good. Just watching some hockey and doing some NFL research for the first time this year. Got the juices flowing, that's for sure.
How about you, Zach? You enjoying taking a break for some not so good basketball?
Yeah, I'm done watching this basketball. It's been terrible coaching, but ready to get into some NFL now.
Yeah, man. So we can probably watch a lot more terrible coaching by Sunday. So here's the format for all you that joined. We know there is a ton of content out there. We're really happy that you found us. We're gonna be doing this every Wednesday night. Maybe it shows up by Thursday morning, but we're gonna go over each one of our kind of top plays by position, and we're going to mix in some like low owned and just some guys that we have some strong convictions of. You will see a lot of other content drop to our channel. Hold the door. Chris is going to be posting showdowns for Thursday night and Monday nights here on this channel. So make sure you've hit that subscribe button at your bottom right of your screen so you get notifications anytime the content is up. Guys, you ready to jump in?
All set.
Let's get it.
All right. So we're going to start off the quarterback position. Tim, I'm going to start off with you. Outside of the obvious, I know you like Lamar, even though he's going to tear up your Browns on Sunday.
It takes a lot from me to talk about Lamar. Okay.
Who else you got?
Yeah, obviously Lamar is the top play at his position, 8,100. He had 2 games, 26 points and 33 points versus Cleveland last year. Cleveland's not returning anybody that is formidable at the position of linebacker, so Lamar can run and dance all day with ease. So don't mind him for cash games or GBPs. But GBP play I had my eyes on was Phillip Rivers. I think he's a pretty good stack with T.Y. Hilton and maybe Jack Doyle if you wanted to go with a three-man Colt stack. The Jaguars seemingly got rid of everybody in the offseason, including their starting safeties, their starting DNs. So it's really been a fire sale for the Jags, and I'm going to have a lot of Colts in different form and variations, starting with Phillip Rivers.
I like it. Zach, who you got at the quarterback position? Everybody duck for the next 2 quarterback picks that are coming.
Yeah, it's going to sound gross, but my guy this week is Mitch Trubisky. He goes up against the Lions, who are just going to be terrible defensively. They lost Darius Slay, who is really their only sign of hope on defense. And as crazy as it sounds, Mitch Trubisky has kind of owned the Lions. Like the last, I think it's 3 meetings, he averaged nearly 300 yards, a 3-to-1 touchdown to interception rate every game. And I actually especially if David Montgomery misses, I think that my favorite stack of the day is going to be Mitch, Tariq Cohen, and Allen Robinson. Or even if you want to go a cheaper guy, go Anthony Miller. I love him too over Allen Robinson. But between those 3 and underrated part of Mitch's game, which a lot of people didn't get to see it last year because he was hurt for the first 10. He had a banged up shoulder, but his rushing ability is really underrated. You saw towards the end of the year, he started becoming fantasy relevant again because he started running. He comes in this year completely healthy. And I think he could put up 50 yards rushing. I'm pretty sure he averages 30 yards rushing against the Lions. So I like the upside for both there.
So when you brought it up this morning, my first reaction was to throw back a vomit emoji at you. And then I started thinking about it more. I really love the play. And honestly, I was thinking this more. But he finally has competition behind him. I don't think he was ever actually threatened by Chase Daniel. So, they just gave a ton of equity to get Foles. So maybe he finally has the motivation needed to
and he had to have a pretty solid training camp because I know it was probably 2 weeks ago. Everyone was saying Foles was the starter, leaning towards the starter. And then they come out and say Mitch is the starter. So,
no, I like it. All right. Now, if I told you all to duck for that, really get out of the way for this potential shitball that I would throw at you. But Dwayne Haskins, 5K. I think that's the cheapest starter on the slate. Let me just kind of defend myself on this pick. So Washington's backfield is a wreck. If everybody wants to go on Antonio Gibson, go for it. But you're facing one of the best D-lines in football in the Eagles. What do we know about the Eagles? They are a pass funnel. They're going to let you air the ball out. Haskins, after he took over, even though this DK logs wouldn't show it, was PFF's number 10 graded running quarterback from week 11 on. Again, no real running game. We know Terry McLaurin, as Adam Levitan would say, shower narrative, all that good stuff. So 5K. It fit one of my builds perfectly. So, yeah, Dwayne Haskins. Let's go.
All right. I like that with Terry McLaurin. They got a good report from Ohio State.
Yeah, all they have to do is get Paris Campbell back from the Colts, and now, put the band back together. All right.
Yeah.
So I promise the rest of my picks will be a little bit less crazy. So let's jump over to running back. TK, who do you got looking at?
I really set my eyesight on Kenyon Drake. The 49ers are coming off an offseason where Fred Warner is hit with the COVID, and he is not playing in week 1. You got Nick Bosa and D Ford really banged up. They are potential misses for this game. And last year, Drake had 242 yards rushing and a TD in the 2 meetings against the 49ers last year. Everyone's going to see that, red little 3 next to Kenyon Drake, and they're going to think the 49ers are a stout defense, when in reality they lost a defensive D-backs coach, Joe Woods. They got a lot of missing holes on that defense. I think Arizona and Cliff Kingsbury are going to be a really powerhouse offense this year, and I think Kenyon Drake's going to lead the way week 1. And I also don't mind Gurley back in Atlanta. Just a quick shout on him. The Seattle defense just lost Clowney and Al Woods and Michael Kendricks. I think Gurley can, at least in week 1, while the knee's still intact, maybe find his way to some 100 yards and a couple of touchdowns. But like always, you target touchdowns, and I think Drake and Gurley can be in line for a lot of the touches for both their respective teams.
And honestly, TK, neither of those guys are going to be owned. I can't imagine.
Nope.
And yet I feel like Gurley, correct me if I'm wrong, exactly. I feel like Gurley has a chance that either they just go, all right, we need to see what we've got right away to figure out if we're going to move on, or they go, all right, pitch count. That would be the only negative. But I kind of almost think that it might be the first, that we got to see what we've got here to figure out if there's even a point of putting him on a pitch counter. We're going to see what happens. What do you think on that, Zach?
That's 2 years ago. If you saw freaking Todd Gurley at 6K, you're jumping out of your seat. It's his knee's not 100% there, but every report says that he's looked really good in training camp.
Back home. UGA guy. One thing I think is underrated in this point is that the Falcons just lost Austin Hooper. So that was a big red zone threat. And I think, if you can get down the field, and Matt Ryan's a 300-yard QB specialist, he seemingly always has a lot of passing yards. So, maybe Gurley's a big boost for this red zone. I just think without Hooper, Gurley could really benefit from these goal line touches.
Yeah, think about when their offense was the best was when Freeman was actually good.
Right. Yeah, him and Coleman.
Yeah, exactly. So maybe we see that. I like it. I'm warming up to it there. Zach, who do you got, my friend?
My guy this week for running back is Josh Jacobs. Priced up a little bit, but the Carolina Panthers are going to be absolutely terrible on defense. This is probably my favorite overall game stack, and he's where I'm starting. Especially this past week, they cut both Lynn Bowden and Theo Riddick, which kind of goes a little to say, they said that he was going to catch more passes this year, which that was always – last year he was really good running the ball, just didn't catch any passes. So this year, if he's going to catch passes along with he's probably going to push 100 yards, and he's going to get all the goal line work. So I think that his upside is through the roof this week.
Yeah, I love that, especially you're going to get some leverage off of the other running back in that game with Christian McCaffrey. So I think I'm probably a little bit on the chalk this week, but Miles Sanders. So, Eagles backfield just outside of Miles Sanders is nothing to there's no depth on it. We used to be scared of all these timeshares. I don't see that anymore. Sanders last year versus Washington, the last game was rushed for 172 yards, 2 touchdowns, 25 touches. He gets you really good upside out of the backfield, which even if those running lanes are a little bit clogged up, I do think that he's going to offer a threat. We know Wentz loves to check down, whether it's Goddard, whether it's Ertz, all those guys. So I think that Sanders, assuming that there's no flags on the injury, right? So we're going to be watching that. But I think Sanders, he's 6,200, just a really solid kind of a cash staple in your lineup.
Today they came out with a report that said that they might not go all in on him, but I'm guessing that's more of he gets 75 to 80% of snaps instead of 90 to 95% of the snaps.
Yeah, and
he's gonna get.
What running backs anymore other than C-Mac are going to give you that much?
I think if anything, it might drop his ownership a couple. which was nice for us. So
yeah, and I do think that as an honorable mention, like the other guy I was just like chewing on. If you guys have takes on was Austin Eckler. I was like right back and forth with them. I do think the Austin Eckler matchup might be sneaky good. Like I don't think the Bengals are any good at all. So I just want to see. I just want to see Taylor actually pick up the pace.
Yeah, I think from a game flow and from a usage standpoint, Eckler makes a ton of sense. He's going to come in with Justin Jackson on the mend, no Melvin Gordon in town, so I think from that standpoint, he's going to get a ton of usage. And 7K, he's going to have to score some touchdowns, but I think it's completely viable as long as they get good play calling. But we know how that's never a given in NFL coaching, so we'll see.
I'm hoping with Tyrod that they continue like the little dump offs to him, like Phillip Rivers loved, because that's where he's so good.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. Like, and I mean honestly, like especially I think the big decision at running back this week is going to obviously be if you're gonna try to jam in C-Mac at 10K, which I think is obviously a great way to go. Give yourself floor, but like if you don't, like getting like Miles Sanders, adding in Eckler, and then you could toss another one like Gurley, like you can just really balance it out quite nice.
Yes, a lot of people I think are gonna a fair amount of people are gonna take those cheap running backs that are announced starters, but I just think that their floors are so low, and like you get receivers at the prices that are so much higher floor. So
I like volume at the running back position. Like get me my touches.
Like TK was saying before, like I'm a big take the high floor running backs and pay up there. So
Yep, and find your receiver volume elsewhere, especially this week. We're going to have to be able to do that. So let's jump over. Perfect segue to receiver. TK, who are you targeting?
Big guy. I like DK Metcalf. I think that game script's going to work out for me with maybe Atlanta playing from ahead and Seattle playing from behind. Russell Wilson and the DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett stack, I think firmly in play. Atlanta was one of the worst secondaries in the league last year. Sheffield graded out as one of Pro Football Focus's worst in the league. We have DK Metcalf, who scored twice versus Atlanta last year. I think this is a big spot for DK, and I'm just hoping Greg Olsen doesn't snatch up my red zone targets in the meantime. But I think DK could have a big game. Don't mind Lockett either on that same team.
I like it. Honestly, I had nothing else to say, but I love it. Like, dude, I haven't seen any photos, but could he possibly get more jacked?
Impossible.
Hopefully Pete Carroll decides that like Russell Wilson's like a top 3 quarterback and they stop handing off to these running backs, because those two receivers are so good. Like
you know what the upside
is so high
for a Wilson Metcalf stack is literally like fumbled kickoff, 7-0 in Atlanta.
Yeah, that's my hope.
Then it's a shootout.
Right.
Awesome. All right, Zach, who you got?
I got Deshawn Jackson. Played one game last year, and it happened to be against the Redskins as well, and he absolutely torched them. It would be even better if Jalen Reagor misses, which, like, there's reports that he's actually, like, looking – like, he was announced out last week, but it looks like he's trending towards playing now. But either way, like, it's going to hurt, like, Greg Ward, not Deshaun Jackson. Mm-hmm. The Redskins traded their only good corner – or not even good, but their only respectable corner.
Right.
Yep. And so, like, they're throwing out a bunch of like no-name guys, and Deshaun Jackson, all reports are he still looks fast as ever at camp, and like he's always good when he's on the field. It's just always gets hurt. So I'm gonna jump on him before that comes. Price way too cheap this week.
I like it. And we know he holds a grudge too.
Yep. Revenge narrative.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think this is probably the. Do you guys think that Devonta Adams is the number 1 owned wide receiver?
Probably. Maybe him or DeAndre Hopkins. I wouldn't think, Hopkins is going to be low owned. I'm not real sure about paying up at wide receiver. It's usually not my build, but
if you do, TK, I advise
Julio probably
for Devonta Adams.
Him or Julio. Only. Usually the two.
I love Julio too. But this segment is about Devonta Adams, TK. Don't steal it.
Okay.
But
no,
so
I mean, there's nothing else in Green Bay. So
last 2 games versus the Vikings, and this was when the Vikings had a good secondary. Well, if you consider Xavier Rhodes and Doyle good, but when they had names that I actually know, Adams 13 for 116, 7 for 106, and that was with corners that I knew existed. I don't know really Mike Hughes. I guess that was a rookie. I don't know Jeff Gladney or Holton Hill. I don't know these guys. I follow football pretty good. I don't know those guys. So
Yeah.
the prospects of Devonta Adams going up against them, we know that, dude, there's nobody left in Green Bay. Like Lazard, like Rodgers is talking of Valdez-Scantling for like the third straight year that he's looking great. Jimmy Graham's gone. They draft a backup quarterback. They don't give Aaron Rodgers any sort of support other than Davonte Adams. So I think he's too cheap. I can't remember, 72 or 7,300. I didn't write that down, but he's too cheap. The matchup to me is very good. I just think that he gives you potentially close to a 20 floor walking into your lineup. So I really like Devonta Adams this week. We're going to shift to tight end where I don't know about you guys, but this is where I've been looking that I need to get some savings on my lineup. So I'm going to go punt there that I'm going to be talking about. But TK, who do you looking at?
Well, everyone else got to talk about an Eagle, so I figured I'd talk about mine at tight end. I like Zach Ertz this week at 5,800. Last game against the Washington Redskins, he went 5 catches for 61 yards and a touchdown. Washington, obviously one of the worst secondaries in the league last year. Zach Ertz, probably one of the best Eagles to get the double-digit targets. D-Jax, like what Zach was talking about, has some of that big play upside, some of that 80-yard touchdown upside. But I think from a consistent target basis, you're going to want to get Zach Ertz in your lineup to get you the double-digit targets, to get you the red zone looks. And if things aren't working out with Miles Sanders, you could really see Philly start to shift to that short passing game that Wentz really loves to do, and Zach is going to benefit from that. So I'm a big fan of Ertz at 58. That's more along the lines of my balanced builds this week. So that's where I'm going to go at tight end.
But you think about this too, like the Ertz volume and targets he gets, if he's a wide receiver, he'd be 7,500.
Right, exactly.
It's just kind of like that built-in DK discount, when you get the tight end. So I dig it.
Exactly. And then, guys like when Deshawn Jackson coming back, that benefits Zach Ertz so much because you can't just freaking have 2 guys on him. You have to have a guy over top. So the underneath's going to be open all day for Ertz. My guy is Hayden Hurst. Former first-round pick for the Ravens, didn't get the opportunity that he wanted. But going over to Atlanta, I am a big Austin Hooper is not good guy, but he crushes in fantasy just because Matt Ryan feeds him the ball at the end of games. And I'm expecting the same thing with Hurst. I think he's pretty athletic. And the Seahawks were bottom 5 against tight ends last year. I just love the fact that Matt Ryan loves targeting these underneath routes, and they throw the ball a ton. So I think that for 4,300, I think that we could see a monster game from him. He's the guy in every single redraft league I have him. I just think he's a monster this year, and I think going to jump on him while he's cheap.
Yeah, I don't know if you noticed that, but to the shade that TK gave you for criticizing his tight end.
We're 20 minutes into the show, and I got my first Browns dig from the Steelers fan. I can't believe we haven't talked about this yet. It's Steelers versus Browns on this left side here of the video. So I knew it was coming. I just didn't know it was coming week 1.
What you didn't know is I was coming up for Austin Hooper. You're like, wait, what?
Yes.
I didn't even think about that.
All good.
So I'm going to get the most boring pick, I think. Jack Doyle. You didn't get excited about Jack Doyle. I don't blame you. He's not normally a guy that we get excited about, but I love cheap tight ends that are going to be on the field 100% of the plays. So Ebron's gone. They brought in Trey Burton, who's on IR. I didn't look at their depth chart. I don't think they really have another tight end. So I just think that Jack Doyle might be on the field the whole time. We know that Phillip Rivers throughout his career has loved tight ends, whether it was Antonio
in the red zone. Yeah.
Leonard Henry, Jack Doyle. Again, he's not not an athletic freak, none of these things, but he's playing a really shitty Jaguars defense. And a chance to build rapport with Phillip Rivers. So 3,600, just give it to me, and it gets me a lot of the other pieces.
I want to throw one more out there. This one's especially for you, Gator. Logan Thomas to stack with Dwayne Haskins as a really cheap stack. He's an athletic freak. He should see all the snaps. Eagles are a little worse at guarding the tight end because they lost Malcolm Jenkins. So for a GPP stack, to throw that on to Haskins, I love that.
Honestly, I've looked at more and more. I'm definitely going to have like a GPP stack of that game. Like, I think, like we talked a lot about Seattle, Atlanta. I think that's going to have a lot of sexy names and ownership. I don't think a lot of people are going to like look down and go, man, I'm stacking up Wentz, Deshawn Jackson, Terry McLaurin, Logan Thomas. Maybe I throw a second tight end or a Zach Ertz. Like, I don't think many people are going to look down at their lineups and go like, oh, this is going to win me $1 million, which let's be real, like, type of thing that does.
If McCaffrey goes off, you have that stack to go with it. There's a good way to getting to that 10K.
Honestly, McCaffrey. I haven't tried that build, but none of those guys are over 6K.
No, that'd be your build.
Yeah, so you probably can get it something like him. I don't know. I'll have to play with that afterwards. It's just intriguing. All right, final thing. Let's talk about defenses. Nobody's favorite thing to project, but let's be real. Sometimes the thing that swings the most money. So who are we looking at, guys?
I'll start it out. I had a couple listed. Just give quick things on them. The Bills defense versus the Jets. I think that's pretty obvious for everyone this week. They're not too expensive either. Later in the years, you start to get these defenses that are like 5K, 4.9, high salary picks for like the stud defenses. The Bills defense is going to come in as one of the best in the league. They're going to get some watered down Patriot game lineups. They're going to get the Jets twice. They're going to get the Dolphins and the rookie and Tua. So going to be streaming the Bills early as long as they're under 4K. Sam Darnold's not much to be scared of. Le'Veon Bell went out of New York already. And Adam Gase just seems to be like one of the most incompetent play callers of late, although that's how he made his name. I just don't see how the Bills at home versus the Jets are going to have a bad game. So I'm going to go with the Bills D.
But TK, what about the Frank Gore revenge narrative?
No.
I still couldn't get over. I still couldn't get over the reports that that Adam Gase wants to get Frank Gore a good amount of carries. It's like, okay.
Most Adam Gase thing ever.
Yeah, seriously.
All right, Zach, go for it.
I'm going on the other side of that game with the Jets. I am big on I don't pay up for defense because I think it's fluky. It seems to be if I pay up for defense, they give 6. If I fade the defense, I get 16. But that's the Jets. I still think like Josh Allen's like a fun player, but he still makes a lot of mistakes. I don't think that like this is probably I didn't check the totals, but I guarantee this one probably has the lowest.
It's under 40.
Yeah. So the Jets, they lost Jamal Adams, but like they still have some respect. Like their D line's good, which will match up well for the Bills. But so like last year, like they averaged 17 points against the Bills last year in their 2 games. So at 2.1, like that's the punt defense that I'm going to be playing everywhere probably.
Yeah, get 6 points and you're rolling. And then supposedly, like Devin Singletary, was like struggling with fumbles all camp. So
yep,
maybe you get something there.
Which hurt me because I'm a big Devin Singletary guy. But
yeah, Zach really looking like he's gonna eat in a ton. But I'm gonna go just like complete like pissed off revenge narrative. I think that Bill Belichick is still pissed off that Miami. What was it? What was the end of the home the first round bye, right? With that final loss.
I think so.
I think
they got rid of their bye, and then they lose, or whatever set them up to lose to Tennessee because of that Miami loss. Now we have nobody talking. I feel like nobody nationally is really talking about the Patriots at all. Like they're talking about like Cam Newton or the quarterback controversy. Bill Belichick, the defensive guy, goes, "Did you forget what my defense did the first 8 weeks?" So they're right in between, in the middle. I have no idea what their ownership will be, but I really think that you want to talk about maybe somebody that could put up like 1 to 2 touchdowns if Fitzpatrick is off. Give me a run at the Patriots.
Great pick.
Yeah, I like that.
All right, guys. Well, that's going to do it. Anything that you guys want to like maybe toss out there that maybe we missed or anything else before we go out?
I don't know. What you guys got a Super Bowl prediction?
Oh my God, I haven't even thought about that.
Yeah, what kind of Super Bowl prediction you got?
As a Tampa Bay Bucks fan, like we've been like the hype team for 10 years, and now we did the Eagles dream team thing here, right? Like what could possibly? We'll see. I will say this, though. I do want to bring this up. I was looking at this in best ball drafts. TK, don't even roll your eyes. there was some talk about our staff with all the best ball drama, but I do want to just throw out like one contrarian tight end pick that I was thinking about. So we know Tom Brady loves tight ends. I think everybody's going to be like all pumped to see Gronkowski back. I would not be shocked at all if O.J. Howard has a couple huge games in kind of that old like Aaron Hernandez role. If you remember, the Patriots offense was really cooking. Was you had that secondary like super athletic tight end. O.J. Howard has been misused since he's been in the league. He is an athletic freak. So like there's just like I guess there's my YOLO call of the week. I think O.J. Howard. I don't know if this is the week, but there's going to be a week that he's going to win somebody a million. That would be my bold call. Anybody else have like any like true? I love that Logan Thomas YOLO that you had. Any other YOLOs while we have like a minute?
I got a season-long YOLO, and I think the Las Vegas Raiders make it all the way to the AFC Championship game this year. I'm high on John Gruden and the Raiders.
Oh,
I think
man.
I'm big with Jacobs with Zach for Week 1, and I think if Derek Carr can pull it together, I think the Raiders are going to have a good shot at going to the AFC Championship game.
All right, that's definitely a way off pick, but let's see. Anything, Zach? No, we'll get out of here.
I'll go Calvin Ridley finishes a top 5 wide receiver this year. That's going to be my yellow this year.
Is that because Julio gets injured or just because he's that good?
I just think he's that good, and I think that he finally gets like the time to actually with Sanu gone. Like he was insane then last year. I think he kind of does like the Chris Godwin this year. He's my pick this year for a big year.
All right, I dig it. Well, guys, thank you all so much for tuning in. Tim, Zach, appreciate it, guys, and good luck to everybody this week. See you.